The Galactic Council chamber was a marvel of architecture that no human engineer could have conceived, a vast amphitheater of suspended crystal platforms, each representing one of the 1,000-plus member species of the Concordat, all arranged in concentric rings around a central dais that hummed with barely contained energy. It was here, in this cathedral of interstellar diplomacy, that Ambassador Darian Voss stood alone on Earth's newly assigned platform, having been summoned for what the official transmission had called a matter of urgent planetary security. High Chancellor Zyrex regarded him from the central dais with the kind of practiced solemnity that came from leading 1,000 worlds for 3 centuries. Zyrex's species, the Cathrali, were tall and angular, their skin a deep violet that shimmered faintly under the chamber's ambient light, and their eyes held the particular weariness of beings who had seen empires rise and crumble like sandcastles. Ambassador Voss, Zyrex began, his translated voice resonating through the chamber with theatrical gravity. The Galactic Council has convened a special session regarding the security status of your homeworld, Earth, and its colonies. We have reviewed the threat assessments compiled by the Concordat Intelligence Division. The findings are concerning. Darian adjusted his tie. Humanity had only been an official Concordat member for 6 years, ever since the Wayfarer expedition had stumbled into a relay beacon near Neptune's orbit and gotten an unexpected reply. 6 years of cautious diplomacy, careful trade negotiations, and the slow, awkward process of explaining to alien bureaucrats why humans insisted on bringing their own coffee to every summit. Concerning how, Chancellor? Zyrex gestured, and a holographic display bloomed above the dais, a star map showing Earth's solar system, surrounded by a web of red threat indicators stretching outward toward at least a dozen nearby systems. 3 pirate confederacies operate within 200 light-years of your homeworld. The Vren Dominion has expressed historical territorial interest in your sector. There are at least 7 recorded instances of rogue AI constructs passing through neighboring systems in the last decade. And, he paused for emphasis, Earth currently possesses no Concordat-recognized planetary defense fleet, no orbital shield infrastructure, and no standing mutual defense treaty with any major power bloc. A murmur rippled through the assembled delegates. Several of the smaller species, the gelatinous fawn, the insectoid Keswick, leaned forward on their platforms with expressions that, translated across a dozen biologies, all amounted to the same thing: pity. By every metric we possess, Zyrex continued, Earth is dangerously undefended. The Council has therefore voted, with significant majority, to offer Earth a Tier 3 Protectorate agreement. Under this arrangement, the Concordat Defense Fleet would establish a permanent garrison presence in your system. 3 capital ships, an orbital monitoring network, and a standing rapid response force, all at minimal cost to your government. We extend this offer not from condescension, Ambassador, but from genuine concern. Earth is, forgive my bluntness, a lamb among wolves out here. Darian was quiet for a long moment. He looked around the chamber, at the rows of delegates who had, in 6 years, never quite stopped looking at humanity the way one might look at a child who'd wandered too far from the playground. He thought about the briefing packet sitting unread in his jacket pocket, the one Earth's Joint Defense Command had sent him 3 days ago with a note that simply read, "Don't worry about this one. We've got it." Admiral Reyes. Chancellor Zyrex, Darian said finally, I appreciate the Council's concern. Truly. But I have to ask, protect us from what, exactly? Zyrex blinked, the gesture translating across species as something close to confusion. From the threats I have just enumerated, Ambassador. The pirate confederacies alone? The Kovash Raiders, the Bleeth Free Fleet, and the Outer Drift Syndicate, Darian interrupted, not unkindly. Yes, we know them. The Kovash Raiders attempted to seize the mining colony on Ceres 14 months ago. They sent 11 ships. 9 were disabled within 4 minutes by automated rail defense platforms that, frankly, we built using technology your own engineers considered obsolete. The other 2 ships' crews surrendered when they realized the systems were already retargeting their engine cores. A ripple of surprise moved through the chamber. Xyrex's violet skin darkened slightly, the Cathrali equivalent of raised eyebrows. As for the Vren Dominion, Darien continued, pulling a small data tablet from his jacket and glancing at it more for theater than necessity, they sent a survey fleet to probe our outer asteroid belt 8 months ago. 3 cruisers. Our fleet didn't even need to engage, we simply jammed their long-range sensors with what our engineers affectionately call radio noise, which is apparently just every television and radio broadcast humanity has produced since 1920, compressed and broadcast at every frequency simultaneously. Their sensor arrays weren't built to filter out 80 years of human pop culture. They left within 6 hours, and Dominion Command issued what I'm told was a very confused formal apology. Several delegates were openly staring now. The foreign ambassador's gelatinous body had gone rigid with what might have been astonishment. The rogue AI constructs, Darien went on, are, I'll grant you, a genuine concern for everyone. But Earth's planetary network runs on a security architecture that our own intelligence agencies designed specifically to resist autonomous digital incursion, because, Chancellor, we've been fighting each other's hacking attempts for the better part of a century. We have entire government agencies whose sole purpose is making sure nothing gets into our systems that we didn't put there ourselves. One of the AI constructs you mentioned actually did attempt to breach our orbital network 11 months ago. It got as far as our outermost firewall before it was, and I'm quoting the report here, politely escorted out and then aggressively memed about by several million people on the internet. The chamber was utterly silent now. High Chancellor Xyrex stood very still on the dais, his expression caught somewhere between bewilderment and the dawning realization that he had badly misjudged this meeting. You're telling me, Xyrex said slowly, that Earth has faced 3 of the 4 threats I cited, and repelled all of them. Without Concordat assistance. Without a standing fleet. Without orbital shields. With a few railguns, some very stubborn radio engineers, and a population that's been preparing for someone to try something since roughly the moment we figured out fire could be weaponized, Darien said. Chancellor, I don't say this to be dismissive of the Council's generosity. I understand the offer comes from a good place. But Earth has spent its entire history as a species fighting itself, empires, nations, ideologies, you name it. We have built planetary defense infrastructure not because we feared aliens, but because we've never fully trusted each other. The byproduct is that anyone looking to test our defenses from outside is, frankly, walking into a system built by a species with several thousand years of practice at violence and an unfortunate amount of natural paranoia. He let that sit in the air for a moment before adding, more gently, we're not rejecting friendship, Chancellor. We'd welcome a genuine alliance, trade partnerships, mutual cultural exchange, all of it. But a protectorate agreement implies we need protecting. And respectfully, Earth has not yet encountered a threat in this sector that required intervention. We would ask the Council to reconsider the agreement not as a defense pact, but as something between equals. High Chancellor Xyrex was silent for a long moment, his violet eyes fixed on Darien with an expression that had shifted, somewhere in the last several minutes, from paternal concern into something closer to wary respect. Around the chamber, delegates were murmuring to one another in a dozen languages, the holographic threat map still glowing uselessly above the dais like a forgotten warning that no longer applied. Ambassador Voss, Xyrex said finally, I believe the Council owes your species a reassessment. Perhaps several. He paused. Tell me, this radio noise defense. Was it truly your entire broadcast history? Mostly sitcoms, actually, Darien said. Turns out 40 years of laugh tracks makes for excellent censor jamming. Nobody's quite sure why. Somewhere in the upper tiers, the Keswick ambassador made a sound that, after a moment, the translation matrix rendered as something disturbingly close to a laugh. The Tier 3 Protectorate Agreement was quietly withdrawn from the session's agenda an hour later. In its place, the Council opened discussion on a new framework entirely, one built not on protection, but on partnership. It would take another 2 years of negotiation before the Concordat Terran Mutual Alliance was finally signed. But word of the meeting spread fast through council space, retold and exaggerated in 100 languages across 100 worlds, until it settled into something like legend, the day the humans were offered a shield, and simply asked what, exactly, they were supposed to be afraid of.